Let's dive into the pros and cons of collecting cash upfront within your fitness business. So this week we're going to be covering a very special series for all of you guys on the Godfather offer, which is essentially a play where you're able to collect 5, 10, 15. Heck, the best result we've ever seen in the inner circle is $82,000 in cash collection from one email and text message. Now, I want to start with a little story, and I remember the first time I used this play, we didn't collect $82,000 like Rick. We collected just a little bit under $20,000, about $18,000 and a bit of change. Now, for quite a young man, when this first happened, is I had never collected $18,000 in a single day. I thought I was going to be like a zillionaire. It was absolutely crazy. It was like the highest of highs that I had ever had and experienced in a business at the time. I didn't really, know what to do with the money. I wasn't experienced as what I am right now. Now, obviously, being able to collect $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in a single day, I believe is a really amazing skill for fitness business owners to be able to have, just in case you do need to, collect some cash up front. But I wouldn't be serving you guys as a coach if I didn't talk to you about the pros, the positives, and there's some really big positives, but also the negatives that are involved in collecting cash up front in your business. Over the years, I have seen many businesses collect a lot of cash up front and do amazingly well. I've also seen businesses collect a lot of cash up front and do absolutely catastrophically bad things and ruin their entire company. So when we're talking about collecting cash up front, the easiest way to do it is to give people a 10, 15, 20% discount if they pay for a year up front. So obviously you're, not collecting as much cash as if they paid via direct debits. But if that cash is in your bank account, you can do some really, really positive things in it. And some of the probably most positive things you can do is initially in your business, you should have 3 to 6 months working capital within your offset accounts. Just making sure that, if your monthly expenses are $20,000, you should have minimum of $60,000, ideally $120,000 in an account just in case, things go wrong, which we've seen over the last couple of years does happen. And that would be a goal that I'd like all of you to set in 2023 to work towards that mark. Obviously, I'm not an accountant, so please get accounting advice on how you do that. But you're able to collect cash and bank it for a rainy day. But also as well, you're able to use it to reinvest back into your business for really quick growth, because a fitness business owner with $10,000 and ability to market and know what they want to do, right, you'll be able to add 50, 60, 70, 80 members very, very quickly, right, with the right tactics and sales strategies off the back of it. And look, some of the pros, I'm just going to do like 3 on each, right? The pros are, it obviously increases your cash collected, your top line revenue for your business, right? Which then gives you the ability to reinvest back into your company if you want to grow, right? And you can start to do some really amazing things. But also as well, getting your payments up front helps you get return on investment on your ads quicker. So one of the strategies we teach you guys is when you're running like a 6-week offer is to get the client to pay for that 6 weeks up front, so that way you cover your ad spend. Right, but you're able to get your long-term ROI by at the end of that 6 weeks is getting people to commit for a year and pay in full. So then you get your full, 6, 7, 8 to 1 ROI. And if you don't understand the terminology that I'm using, the more that you run Facebook ads and the more experience that you do get, the better understanding you will have within this process. But as I get you guys really excited over the next, 4 to 5 days, and I've got some amazing guests where collecting cash up front has fundamentally changed their life and their business forever. I want you to take note of the risks and the negatives involved in collecting cash up front within your business. So firstly, it's actually a liability to your business. So you're not actually more profitable that month. So if I join up at your gym and I pay for a year up front, I'm actually a 12-month liability at that stage. So, the $2,500 I paid, whatever it might be, right, is that actually isn't profits for that month. It's got to be dispersed over the years. And what a lot of people will do, especially if you don't have the right accounting advice or you don't understand, is they're just like, oh wow, I just profited like $15,000 last month. And it's like, no, because you've now got to service that client for the next 12 months. And also, guys, it can cause some issues with your monthly recurring revenue. And again, it's just my belief as your coach that your monthly recurring revenue should be well over your monthly business expenses. That helps you sleep easier at night. So if you start to collect an absolute ton of cash up front, what happens is your monthly recurring revenue dips, where then you get on this hamster wheel of having to chase upfront sales, right, to be able to be in a profitable position, which can be a very, very dangerous position and also a very stressful position. And I actually say that one with personal experience. We went on a certain time in my business career, we went on an absolute ballistic tear to collect cash up front. We collected an amazing amount of cash up front, but then a couple of months later, our recurring revenue was obviously a lot lower, right, than our monthly expenses. And that was very stressful. And it took us a while to dig ourselves out of that hole. So the lesson is make sure your recurring revenue is higher than your monthly expenses. And also, guys, right, you need to know where you're at in terms of business ownership and your level of business discipline. Because collecting a lot of cash up front for a business owner with no discipline, lack of experience, can be absolutely catastrophic to your company. If you don't know what to do with the money, if you don't know how to, put money aside for tax and how to reinvest that money wisely to grow, or whether to reinvest it or whether you need to sit on it for a rainy day, it can cause absolutely catastrophic issues within your company. So as we run through this series and I teach you guys how to collect a lot of cash up front, for those implementing it, I want you to start small. I want you to collect no more than $5,000 to $10,000 in your first go at this. Don't go signing up 20, 30, 40% of your members in paid in full, which I'm sure a lot of you can do, right? Because it might get you into a lot of issues down the line. I hope you got a little bit of value from today's episode, right? I'm going to be covering this in a lot more detail over the next 4 to 5 days, which you'll be able to find on our podcast and on our YouTube channel to be able to watch in the future if you need to come back to it. And it's been an absolute crazy week in the fitness industry with the Liver King being outed for being a steroid user, which is kind of like not really surprising. The surprising thing for me was that he went on like a podcast tour and kept digging himself into that hole. But one of the lessons that I've learned for those who have made mistakes, a little bit like the Liver King in life, whether it's, a personal mistake, whether it's a business mistake, is I don't know what his life will look like over the next 12 to 24 months. But I want you guys to know is if you ever make a mistake in life and business, becoming a person of integrity and changing your values, you can absolutely fundamentally change your life over a 12 to 24 month period. And for those who know me like personally really, really well, that understand that there was a time in my life I got into a very, very bad position and you're able to get yourself out of it over time. So absolutely crazy with the Liver King. If you've kind of followed along, I'd love if you send me a message on social media. But most importantly, buckle yourselves in for the week that we have coming up, because I'm going to teach you how to collect cash up front and also how to reinvest it wisely so that it is actually a benefit to your business and not a negative. You guys have an absolutely amazing day. Any questions, feel free to reach out anytime.